Hey, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm joined by Squeaks, who is trying to surprise me with something right now. Here we go. Let's see what the surprise is.
Welcome to the Squeaks games.
Oh, God.
I'm here
for you listeners, full Squid Game outfit, red lights around him and everything like that. I am. This is going to be a weird recording.
So this is a Halloween special. I assumed was I the only one that showed up for that?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
This is now the Squeaky Games. I want to start off this episode with a little something special, though. So, a while ago, we made a bet.
Here we go.
And that bet was, what was it, week 3 of football. A Ravens fan, Frank's a Dallas fan. And it was about who would win, right? Okay, who would win? Okay. Mm-hmm. So, I was a little scared. Ravens started off really bad. And they were bad again today. I've been losing against a team that only won one game.
Cowboys is losing it right now. So, yeah. I feel
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. The Ravens prevailed. Yeah. Okay, so that bet was, when Dragon Age releases, we get to decide who each other's classes will be.
This is so weird.
This is the Squid Game, the Squeaky Games, okay? All right, it's in honor for the upcoming season 2. So what I did to make this fun, I'm doing a drawing for Frank's class. But not just the class, but the subclass as well. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Okay. So I decided to do a drawing. My Willy Wonka hat. It's just getting weirder and weirder. Okay, popcorn bucket.
I'm going to use that picture on the thumbnail, by the way, for this episode. You holding up the Willy Wonka.
Okay. So anyway, I'm going to draw. And now each little thingy in here is going to be the class and the subclass, what you have to play as. So,
okay.
I'm going to do 3 drawings. The first 2 are what you're not going to be. Okay.
Oh, you are playing this up. Oh, my God.
Okay. All right.
What showman?
All right. You ready? You ready for this? First one.
I am ready.
Well, Frank is not going to be in Dragon Age. Okay. I'm wearing gloves, so it's a little harder to feel this.
You're fully decked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Except for the belt. Okay. Here we go.
You can't read through that mask that you have on. That's a Squid Game mask.
Okay. You ready? First one that Frank is not going to be is the Mage Spellblade. Okay.
That's a pretty cool one too. Yeah.
And I do have descriptions.
Okay.
Let me just take this fucking glove off real quick.
It's falling apart slowly.
Real quick. All right. Here we go. The Mage Spellblade is weaving magic and melee together. The Crow Spellblade wields both dagger and orb to serve death to their foes.
Yeah.
That's what you're really not going to be.
It looks really cool. Yeah.
You're not going to be. Okay. Here we go. Second one
of
what you're not
outfit?
Going to be. No, they're going to be, what was it? Oh, Princess Peach and Dorothy from Wizard of Oz.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Second one of Frank's not going to be. The Warrior Reaper is what you're not going to be.
Okay, good. Because that one I definitely couldn't do. I'm watching the videos of that one.
All right, let's see. Defender of Living and Dead. The Mourn Watch Reaper leeches life from enemies. Throws shields with precision. Captain America.
Yeah. Captain America meets Warlock. Yeah.
Okay, here it is. This is it.
Here we go.
This is it. This is who Frank is going to have to play as in Dragon Age.
This is by the way, guys, I will say this is definitely an episode I suggest you watch it on our YouTube channel. That's going to be required for this one.
Halloween special. Okay, you will be the Rogue Duelist. Probably the worst sounding class there is.
Damn it.
When I wrote that down,
so soft.
Yeah, let me try to see if I could even like say it cool. But when I was writing these things down, I was like, well, that seems pretty basic itself for any rogue, right? And maybe for us that play World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Let me swift as the wind. The Crow Duelist specializes in dancing between blades and punishing enemies with devastating melee blows. Yeah, that's the fucking worst, man.
By the way, guys, I usually pick a ranged class, and the 3 that you just drew were all melee. So it's just banger after banger for me. Oh, man.
Because I knew you really didn't want to play as a warrior. Is that right? You didn't want to do a warrior? Yeah. So
I didn't definitely want to do a warrior, yeah. Rogue Duelist.
I feel bad for you. I feel bad.
That's going to suck, dude. You know how soft that's going to be, too? They're going to be so weak.
Oh my goodness gracious. That sounds so boring. When I heard a rogue has dual swords or dual, whatever weapons, I'm like, yeah, like any other rogue.
What's the subclass then?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry for you. I'm sorry.
I will share clips of that, guys. You'll see me being a rogue duelist and just getting lit up by things. See how that goes?
That's great to be here today.
Let's get into our question of the week. And this should be your jam. So, because you're the horror aficionado amongst us, my question for you is, if you had to spend one night running and hiding from any horror villain, who would it be?
All right. So what I was thinking of two answers. One kind of like reading in between the lines and thinking of like really like branching out. And the other, is it hard to focus on me right now?
It's incredibly hard, dude. And I'm also thinking like I had a cape. I could have wore like a cloak. I could have done something for Halloween.
Sure, somebody else would have wore something, but okay. So
well, Jonathan's late, so that doesn't help.
Okay. So who I would run? So I was reading in between. I was like, okay, let me think about how would I survive? How can I do this? And when I was looking up horror characters, I wanted to branch out to just the typical ones that we always think about when it comes to Halloween horror movies. And Frank, I'm gonna need you to stop laughing at me.
I'm taking a picture. Hold on, I gotta take a picture.
So I got two of them, because one to like really like entertain the question and one to like really just answer the question. Okay, so this one entertaining would be Sweeney Todd. Okay, so anyone that knows me knows that.
Yeah.
Would I ever go to a barbershop for? You know, easy to stay away. Easy victory.
That's totally fair. Yeah.
Sound asleep.
You can go in for a shave, which I think was a specialty, really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you know, like there's no need for me to do that. Okay, so easy stay away. Now for to really answer it, I would probably do Carrie, because if I'm gonna be chased by any horror type character, might as well be a female in a prom dress, right?
Good looking gal.
That's what I'm saying. There you go.
With mommy issues. They're making that into a series, by the way. Did you hear about that?
No, but I thought they tried doing something earlier. No, before
they made a few remakes that have never hit. The original's the one good one.
I think that was
trying
a
to do
remake,
a series for it.
Yeah.
You know, she like has telekinesis and stuff. I think she's gonna kill you pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's Freddy Krueger, because it's like you just have to stay awake.
Oh, that sounds easy.
I mean, I just spent almost all night playing Call of Duty this week. So yeah, just give me a good video game and I could beat Freddy Krueger for a night. It should be pretty. Now I will say, as I'm getting older, that's far harder trick when I was younger. I used to do that on the regular.
You don't even know.
Nowadays I'm like, ugh.
You don't even know how hard it was just to stay awake to put this shit on and be on this podcast right now. Okay. When I'm laying in bed with the girls, I'm like, man, this is way more comfortable. Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, let's try to get this episode in. Let's go ahead and get into the news. Paul Bettany confirms a few things about the Vision Quest series coming up. First off, we know now, Jack Schaefer is not going to be a part of it. He was talking about how good Jack Schaefer's doing on Agatha all along, and she's not going to be show running this one just because of scheduling difficulties. And we know that it's going to be the white form of Vision trying to find his new identity after his rebirth. And we have James Spader returning as Ultron, the villain of this thing. Yeah, Todd Stashwick, who did 12 Monkeys and Star Trek Picard, he's going to be an assassin who's trying to take out Vision for his tech. And yeah, they're going to start filming this next summer. So we have Agatha all along right now. It's doing quite well amongst the Disney Plus fans and whatnot. What are some of your hopes and dreams for this Vision Quest series?
So my hopes are that they can continue this, because I know they really want to like tie into Agatha and like WandaVision.
Yeah.
Is that they could tie it in really well and having this like series universe, but the damage of that too is people that maybe not have experienced maybe Agatha, but maybe like WandaVision or vice versa, that will it get too confusing for them. So that's my fear with this one. I think it'd be great. Hopefully they can still kind of like grasp this like magic that WandaVision and Agatha is pulling right now, but it doesn't sound from like when you're like just now reading the details like, oh, okay, I'm just an assassin trying to get Vision's tech. I mean, is that all we're doing is just this chase, cat and mouse type thing? Like what can really be, what can really like pull from that? Yeah,
it does seem pretty light, but I will say, like, if you look at Agatha's plot, it's like, oh, a group of witches are going to go down this road. Yeah. There's a lot more in there. So there might be something like that going on with this as well. And then, but I'm going to miss that magic aspect of this kind of series that we have. And this one going full tech is iffy, but I am very happy with the fact that we're getting Ultron back, because Ultron is a far better villain than he got credit for in Avengers Age of Ultron, I think. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think Ultron could definitely last more than one movie, at least the two movies thing. So this is kind of nice that he's getting that little respect that he's that's deserved that we've seen maybe like in like the What If series and whatnot. Like he could definitely carry more than just the one Avengers movie. Now, do you think that Vision will tie in, maybe learn from the past Vision and maybe just become that Vision? Or do you think he's going to like see things that maybe he could have done differently and become like a better version of Vision?
You know what I think it'll be? I think we'll have Vision trying to figure out who he is now, and we'll probably have his regular form or his old form, but like on his shoulder on one side, like Angel Devil, on the other side, Ultron. Because Ultron that's what he was made for, the MCU. And it could be like the Joker in the Arkham series. After Joker died, he was sitting there talking to Batman the whole time.
Oh, shit. That'd be kind of dope, actually. Yeah,
Ultron trying to figure out what he's going to do. Vision trying to figure out what he's going to do with his future.
That'd be cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah. It's good to see them kind of explore some of those old school characters, though, because, again, Vision's awesome and Ultron is far better than he got treated. And we don't have to dig so deep into the Marvel comics. We could just give people the proper coverage that they need. Speaking of botching Marvel stuff recently, we have the Blade movie that just got dropped off the schedule, and they said it's still in development, but it's completely off the Marvel schedule. We know that Spider-Man's coming out now in between Avengers, the next two Avengers movies, so he kind of got put on the schedule. The Blade movie, I know you were kind of putting all your eggs in this basket.
Yeah, I was, damn it. This was the only thing that was really excited for that's coming for the Marvel universe. So it sucks to see this, but it's almost like not a shocker with all the other like previous issues that it was having in development. It's just a bummer. I almost think like maybe creative issues. Main actor's name that I always have a hard time pronouncing.
Mahershala Ali.
There was one time where he was saying like, hey, creative differences. And I almost liked that because it felt like he was pushing back against Disney trying to put something in there that wasn't like maybe true to the character itself. And if it's really not, which kind of like gives my prop. Henry Cavill with Warhammer, right? I think there's a little spat with Warhammer going on.
Witcher. Actually, it was Witcher that's the reason he left the show is because the showrunner and the writers didn't want to have to follow the book. And he's like, Witcher would not do that, is what he's trying to tell them.
True. So something came up with Warhammer. I don't want to get into it, whatever.
Did it really?
Yeah, so it came up. But it seems like maybe it's like a light issue that'll get resolved right away because, I mean, Henry Cavill just obviously spats out his love for Warhammer. So, like, if he's not liking it, then I already know I'm not going to like it. So if Mahershala Ali, sorry, is not going to like it for whatever reasons, then it's probably like, okay, maybe it's good that you're just not going to put out something that the fans are not going to like. Take me serious.
By the way,
right
his name would be way cooler if it was Martial Law, like you just said.
Martial Law.
Watch out, Martial Law is the next Blade.
Everybody back in your fucking house.
We lost the director, script rewrites, scheduling issues with some of the actors, and then we had the strike and everything like that. This was announced back in 2019. You had a pandemic pop up. This movie, I think at this point, I would like just go back to the drawing board fully, and I would say, hey, you know what? Deadpool and Wolverine did a great job. Let's just bring back old Blade and have a transitional moment where Blade is giving the role to his daughter at some point, because his daughter is real big in the comic books right now, and just have Wesley Snipes do like 3 movies and kind of become the whistler over those 3 movies. Like he's starting off as Blade, but then eventually becomes the one teaching his daughter how to do it. And that's how we could end off after our trilogy. What do you think about that? Is it a little bit too much?
Almost a little bit, for the fact that I think this was the reason why Martial Law didn't like to do this current Blade, right? So, but he didn't want to do this Blade because he didn't want to do it like a daughter handoff, right? He wanted to give obviously like the spotlight to Blade. But now, if this is kind of tanked, what does that do for him? Does it like it's almost in a way, are they scrapping the whole thing, starting over, and then they could do a plot like what you're saying? Which almost maybe seems like, okay, then wow, Disney won. They had it the way they wanted it, and it might backfire. Wesley Snipes in 3 movies? I don't know, man.
I know, right? Here's my plan B, because we're seeing how well they're doing with this new show Bible system that they're using. Again, Agatha, and then Daredevil's been looking really good from what we've been hearing so far. What if they go with a TV show version of the Blade?
But man, would it be as violent though? I guess it can be.
Well, yeah, that's true, right? Because it's Disney Plus. But no. I will say that they have kind of gone there with Agatha.
Yeah, and you know what though? Disney Plus is I'll say it again, one of the shittiest fucking UIs ever when it comes to streaming services. You can watch Snow White. Right, scroll to the right of that. You can watch the whole collection of Saw. What the fuck is this service? Like, it's so ass backwards.
Well, in defense of Disney, you had to turn that on. Like, I remember I had to turn it on mine to be able to do that because there's normal profiles and then profiles. It was when Echo came out.
Yeah.
So I think you turned it on because you're like, oh, I got to watch Echo or whatever it was. I'm sure it wasn't Echo, but but you turned it on. So now you have them mixed together. But if you had your regular profile and like you had like Squeaky After Dark profile, you know, this Squeaks Gaze profile, then it would have been R-rated.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out because I didn't like activate anything. I just went on one day and then Hulu. I saw the Hulu stuff popping up, but it's just like hilarious to me that it just seems so like there's no identity to the Disney Plus like to me at all. But I think maybe you can do that.
And I hear that they are going to be merging with the Hulu app at some point, so that'll be a whole other can of worms there too because Hulu has quite a bit of content on it that, you know, Bridesmaid's Tale or whatever it is, Handmaid's Tale, that's it, and stuff like that. So hopefully they can find something to do with the Blade character because he is freaking incredible and he opens up the entire like vampire universe. All right, we're not going to be negative the entire episode, but let's move on to New Jedi Order. So Stephen Knight, exit, he's the writer for this whole thing, and this puts the Rey movie in limbo. We've been having a lot of issues, specifically with the director over there. She's been doing interviews and it's not been going well for her. It's Sharmeen Abdeh Chinoy, who's the director. This Rey movie, I don't have a lot of high hopes for it. I'll give you that, but I wanna love it because I think it's kind of that next era that we do need for Star Wars.
And I, you know what? And I'm with you. Like, I want to love something that's coming out on the big screen for Star Wars because lately it just hasn't been there. But you're right, though. There's been a massive amount of backlash with the interviews with Shameen. And it's almost like, maybe like, hey, Disney, maybe you can tell your directors to kind of shut the fuck up sometimes. You know, I don't know. I'm saying, bleep me out, whatever.
They do seem to step into it sometimes, yeah.
So it almost just seems like if this is a flop, obviously it'll be blamed on everyone else, but just the content of the show, kind of like the Acolyte. And I know there's Acolyte lovers out there, but then I seen some stuff too personally that I'm just not going to be into. But of course, we're not going to blame like the quality of the show. They'll just find a way to blame everybody else for not liking the whatever.
Acolyte was a bad show. I have reviewed every single one of those episodes, and there were some good parts. It was a bad show. I will defend that all the way through with receipts. Sorry, go ahead.
For like Star Wars fans, we don't want. We hope for the best. Okay,
of course we do.
Like. Does Rey, like, do I really care too much about Rey? Not really. I'm not a big fan of the whole, like, latest trilogy. And there's a lot of them not out there. I think it's just writing, whatever. But maybe this can be something fresh for Rey where it doesn't feel like you're just being thrown in a movie that's just copyright of the original trilogy. Yeah. And start off with something that's her, like, only for her, like something that's written just for her. And hopefully we'll like it. But I think it's going to have to be a pretty... What do they drop, like, first 2 episodes usually with the Star Wars? I think I've seen with Mandalorian, like 1, 2,
no, this is a movie,
episodes.
So...
Oh, shit, sorry. Scratch that. I'm thinking of the series, like, because I was thinking of Skeleton Crew for a second, but because we were talking about that a while ago, which I'm still waiting for. Like, what the hell? So if this drops... Oh, man, I don't know. I'm just nervous about it. I don't know.
I'm really
I just don't have hopes for it.
Yeah. I want to see a really good creative team around it. That's what's going to save it for me. If we see, like, you know, any Dave Filoni stuff touch it, of course, I think we're happy. But I want to see a good writer on this. Like, this guy was the writer for Peaky Blinders. That's why I was like, wait a minute, this could be good. Now that he dropped out, and we don't know why, there was some scheduling things and stuff like that, but he's dropped out. I'm like, who are you going to pick up? It needs to be someone who can really kind of finish a complete story. By far, the worst part about the newer trilogy is the fact that J.J. Abrams dropped out on that middle movie, because then it just went out of nowhere. You killed off some amazing characters. You introduced stupid things. It was really dumb. And then we had to hurry up and like pick up Palpatine at the end, and it just didn't feel good. This, I don't care. Even if it's a bad story, as long as it's all connected, I'll be happier than I was with the newer trilogy, right? Does that make sense to you? Does at least that way, at least like they have a plan going into it?
Yeah, I think so. I think
like, even if it's just okay, here's a good example of it.
Okay.
Here we go. Harry Potter, great ass movies, right? I think you definitely agree. Is the Beast ones okay? Sure, they're probably okay, but at least they're all like consistent. Like, that would make it better than him just being like new director every time, random stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, those movies were shit. So now you really got me turning now. Like, maybe not. Maybe not now. No, but it would be nice to give Rey like her own like legit story, because that last trilogy was fucking dog shit to me. and I'm not going to go into it because there's so many things wrong with that.
There's a lot of things wrong with it. Yeah, of course.
But what do you think? Like, this is a well-trained Rey now? Like, she's super good with the Force now?
She's trying to found the Jedi Temple, kind of like how Luke was trying to do in the movies too. Try to found the Jedi Temple, try to found a new Jedi Order, really. And I think there's a lot there that could be told. I think the Rey character by herself is very good. I just think it was the movies that were so bad. And I would like for us to kind of see some, like, hey, how's Poe Dameron doing? How's Finn doing? Kind of have them pop in and out maybe would be good.
I like that.
And there are a lot of Star Wars characters that we know from like off books and stuff like that are really cool that are still alive. And, you know, Filoni's kind of introducing them in. That's not a terrible idea. Pick up some of those old Star Wars books that everybody clearly likes and just take those characters. Like, that's fine.
And I think because you never know, like, you could just throw them in for one-offs real quick and these new ones and novels and see what actually grasps the audience's attentions and maybe make something based off of that. Like, you know, you never know what'll...
Great point.
We might love the most, you know? It might be something ridiculous as like a little tiny droid that pops up. They're like, oh my God, get me more droids, you know? Like, or whatever. You know? Like, let me follow R2-D2 with the plans, you know? Just give me a full series of that, right? Or it might be like a whole, like, a Wookiee or a Ewok fucking... series, you know?
Let's learn more about the Ewoks. You never know.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Shoot.
All right, let's go ahead. We're going to jump to our reviews now, and we're going to review Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Venom 3. You had a chance to play some Call of Duty, correct?
I did.
So what's your first impression for Call of Duty?
Oh, man. So I'm not a big Black Ops fan at all. Never really have been. Didn't really like the futuristic tech, but like the lack of feeling like in war, you know, it just seems like the whole behind the scenes thing. But when I started the campaign on this Black Ops 6, it kind of hooked me a little bit. I was like, all right, so we're back to like, okay, by myself, lone wolf, fucking let's hide in the shadows and shit or whatever. But something about it really felt 007 like. And I didn't really feel that before. Maybe because I was more alone. So
true, dude.
Right?
You nailed it with that.
Man, like the before was, I think, is you're if I remember right. I mean, it's been many years. You're with somebody, you got some tech gadgets, whatever the hell. But this was like, okay, you played a lot more than me. But that first real mission, you're just there with a silencer pistol. You're just trying to get to the roof and snipe, right? Man, you have nothing more than that. And I'm like,
yes,
man, like this is like, I'm so like Daniel Craig right now. You know, that's what it felt. And then the part,
which I know that's the point of Black Ops, by the way. Black Ops is definitely the one that are like Black Ops, but that mission is such a great call out. And I think that is kind of the mission I think everybody should play to get a feel for this game. Because you start with just the pistol and then you're excited when you could pick up a shotgun or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, this completely changes my gameplay. And I did pick up the shotgun. And there was a moment where I was just like popping people off as I'm going around corners or whatever, making a mess. And it felt really cool. The story is very cinematic too. Like I'm watching a movie or like a Netflix show, basically.
Yeah. Are you playing this on PC?
I'm playing it on Xbox. I am forcing myself to get good at the controller on shooters again.
I am kind of with you because I game share. So like saving me some money or whatever. But I'm with you on that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to save the money. I'm going to try to get good now with my thumb because it's been horrible ever since I picked up PC. But I asked you this because I was going to say, playing on the Xbox Series X, this actually looks and moves very smoothly on the cinematics. Like, I'm like, holy shit, this looks great. Yeah. I don't know if like that maybe like caught your attention or you're used to that kind of stuff already, but I wasn't expecting that.
You could kind of see it, right? You can see when it goes from like true cinematics to these kind of advanced gameplay cutscenes. Yeah. But then there's certain moments where, let's go back to that one particular mission where like you have to shoot the limo as it's driving by. I failed that a couple times because I just, I don't know. I'm trying to get good at the controller.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
And but like when you missed it, it wasn't like, wrecking the story. It just like rewound a bit and you have to do that story again. It was like you just skip back on the control on the remote when you're watching a TV show a couple times and you did it again until you got it right. But it was like, this is like me being in a cutscene basically is what it felt like.
Yeah. It was really neat. It's weird because I'm more like, I enjoy the Call of Duties where like, it's just all out war. There's people next to you just dying. Yeah. And you just got to like sprint to the target and just knock down everyone that's in your path. That's what I love when it comes to even like the World War II ones and Modern Warfare. But this one just had a different feel compared to the past of the Black Ops that really feels like I'm more agent. Now, one thing that they added to this, and I'm talking strictly campaign, obviously, is that I didn't know when it first started again, I was like, oh my God, here we go again. This is going to be hella fucking boring as shit. I just want to shoot people. Is when you're in the mansion and you can like walk around in it. You're like, okay, come talk to me when you're ready to do whatever. I'm like, this is Call of Duty, bro. Put me in the fucking mission. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But I kind of didn't mind it after playing that first mission, because when you go back to it, you got more allies there, and it really feels like it's this, what's that? Expendables, at a certain extent.
Yeah.
So
I see that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this almost feels like it can just be a movie than it's just a Call of Duty game.
That overworld hub element, what I like about it is they have the ways of upgrading it, right? You're adding your armor or whatever to it. And the thing that he's telling you is like, Cooper, I think it was, just like go find the money to unlock more things. Yeah. So then when I'm in the missions, I'm actually actively looking around for a little bit of cash while I'm out there too. Yeah. And I'm happy when I pick it up. So it's a different element to Call of Duty game that I didn't have in the past, where I'm like looking for cash. Yeah. And I got like $250 from one place. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's enough. No, it's not enough yet. All right, next time I'm going to keep an eye out for more. Yeah. That's just a fun little thing to add on to there. And you're always up for it.
Yeah. It's almost like, are they trying to do this like open world first person like Cyberpunk, but with still that Call of Duty
you're definitely still in rails though.
It is for sure. But it's almost like this is our first time kind of opening that up a little bit, like opening that lane up. And I was like, I wonder if we'll get more of that, which I hopefully I don't feel like that'll work, but I don't like doubt that that'll come.
Now, this is the first Call of Duty. Call of Duty, of course, so impactful in the gaming industry that like it almost broke a merger with Activision and Microsoft. This is the first one on Game Pass. Are you playing through Game Pass?
I am.
Me too.
Yeah.
Would you have bought in this game if it wasn't for Game Pass?
Oh man, that's tough. Let's see. Currently, with what's going on right now, no.
Yeah.
And that's just because I'm so hooked into WoW still.
Yep.
I got Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on top of Silent Hill 2.
And we have Veilguard next week.
Yeah, Veilguard. Yeah, there's a lot like bangers and past ones that are still out there that I'm really enjoying, and even Warhammer 2 I'm still playing a lot of. So I don't think so. Plus my heavy class on Warhammer, looking a little like a beast. Okay.
By the way, since I know you listen to the podcast, I don't even need to tell you this.
I do.
On the last Geek Freaks, I gave a big shout out to you for completing your first raid since Wrath. And we gave you a big shout out on that episode. I know you listened to it, so that was not new news for you. But
no, I do, and I appreciated that. Oh man, I told my in-laws and stuff. I was like, oh my God, I completed a raid, and I couldn't even tell you the last time I finished one. It's so long.
It was Wrath that you had gone all the way through.
Yep,
and it was on Volgrim as a healer.
Yeah,
and yep, classic. And I got to say though, like being in Discord, like I complete all the raids. That's not a big deal. But being with you in Discord when you were realizing that we're about to kill that boss, Queen, and stuff like that, that was exciting for me because I was like, oh man, it's been a while since I've been in that kind of environment where it's like, oh my God, and that was a lot of fun. So that was a blast. That was good. We still have to do raid this week, by the way. I'm sure you haven't. We've been so busy. It's hard.
I think I just reached, I know we're getting off track. I reached item level 604 or 5 now. So it's almost man, I'm ready for like, okay, I need mythic 5s or higher right now. Which I've been doing mythics, you'd be proud of me. And then it's like, okay, well now I'm ready for I feel like I'm ready for a raid rogue, a heroic raid, right? Come on, give it to me, daddy.
At 605, let's you and me do it. I'll bring the hunter too, so we can kind of cheese it a little bit
down.
And then there's also the anniversary event too. You got to go check.
Yeah, I've been doing that as well.
Okay. Yeah. This is totally off topic now. I'm sorry, guys. We'll get back to Call of Duty in a second.
Wow, that's what it does.
Did you see the new mount that came out that blew up the internet?
Oh my gosh! I literally put it in my cart and I'm like, I can't do this right now. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
My God. I was like, how does my Zandalorian troll not need this? I need that for him.
It's so shady, but it was easiest $90 I've ever spent.
You didn't know.
So, but hold on. I didn't spend the $90 because I was like, okay, look, here's how you're going to justify this and kind of stick it to the man. You have to earn gold to get it. So I need another 500,000 and then I'll buy it with just gold because I was like, that's how you're going to tell them, hey, I know you guys are greedy or whatever. That's how I'm just justifying it for myself. But because we have until January to get that mount. So we have plenty of time to earn the gold for it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be able to.
We'll see. We'll see in January when it's like, hey, you only got a week left to get that mount if you want it. All right.
Just grinding gold. Yeah.
But somebody like Joe who earned the 5 million gold back in Battle for Azeroth, they're furious right now because Blizzard came out and said we will never put out an auction house mounts again. That was a mistake, which made their mounts far more valuable. And suddenly everybody's got them. And Blizzard, it's clearly a scammy move because I mean, the amount of people who just spent $90 surprise on one day is amazing. Yeah. So it's kind of shady.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually you would think like, I think his skins were in Overwatch, like for a cause or something. I think one of them was like breast cancer or whatnot. I don't really remember. It's been so long. That this one is just putting it out there, right? There's like no reason for this. It's just something they made.
It's for the anniversary event is what they're saying. But
okay. Doesn't really need to be $9. It could be $30 for like the 30 years of whatever one we're on. 20 years for WoW, 30 years for
they knew if they brought this one back, they could sell it for $90. And they did, because Dornegal is full of these things right now. And it's like every time you look at them, like $90, $90, $90.
Yeah.
Fast as can be.
Crazy. But Black Ops 6, though.
Black Ops 6.
Yeah, I think they're doing something a little nice and a little special with this one. And it feels different. It feels like no other Call of Duty you ever played, really, when it comes to campaign. Have you played you're pretty far in the campaign. Does it still feel like that? Or is it more a little action-y? Does it feel like you're getting tired of the solo stuff or whatnot?
No, I enjoy the campaign. Again, it feels very much like a movie. There are times I've gotten stuck on like the spy aspect of it, which is kind of nice because it's not just the Call of Duty run and gun stuff that I'm used to with like Modern Warfare. That does feel good. I haven't tried any of the multiplayer yet. I'm not really a multiplayer guy, so that's why this is just basically off of campaign. And if it wasn't for the Game Pass, I don't think I would be playing this right now. And it's interesting because with Game Pass, they put out the numbers. They lost $6 million in sales, but gained $4 million in Game Pass subscriptions in the first day of this game's launch.
Okay, so you're still cutting at like a $2 million loss, or what do you think?
$2 million loss, but then I'm thinking like if people don't cancel their Game Pass in a month, suddenly it's a gain.
That's true.
You know,
because people have been playing this game way longer than just 1 month, right? You're going to be grinding out multiplayer easily. So,
and even if you do pay for 2 months of Game Pass, you're still under the price of the game. Yeah, so it's worth it for a lot of people.
Yeah,
for those who are doing just the campaign. And then Game Pass has a slew of good games. Hellblade Senua came out this year. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
the sequel. But yeah, so let's go ahead and start getting a score for this out of 10. What are you thinking?
Oh man, I will go. I will go 7 out of 10 right now. Yeah,
7 out of 10.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm gonna go 8 out of 10 myself.
Okay.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. Again, very cinematic, great story. I'm really enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not too far off. Yeah.
We're not too far off.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have a chance to watch Venom?
Okay. No.
Then you get to ask me questions because I did watch it.
Okay.
So Venom: The Last Dance, I had a chance to watch it this week, and it is trying to kind of bring back the chaos of the first movie because the second movie was, whatever. It's trying to bring back to the chaos and the wacky fun. It has that buddy cop storytelling, but it's kind of worn. Yeah, it's too much of that. It's very mediocre, painfully so. Drags out parts that don't need to drag out. There are characters that literally could be deleted from the film and would not affect the story. That being said, the final act, the final battle, the final act, very good and redeems a lot of the movie. I would say, I'm going to start with a score and then I'm going to have you ask me questions that you might have. My initial score, 2/3 into this movie, was like a 3 or 4 out of 10. After the finale, the final battle and everything, I'd push it up to 5 or 6 out of 10. So not, saving it, but substantial.
Okay. So questions. First of all, do you immediately regret that you could have watched something else at the movie theater besides this?
No.
Okay.
I think
that's good. That's good. That's
good. I've seen the other two, so I had to finish it basically. If you're going to watch Noel, don't. He's like,
yeah. So can I do some spoiler alert questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, who the fuck's the villain in this thing now? Because that Noel being a post-credit thing threw me off. I did not realize that. I know I texted you right away. I was like, hold on, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, who's the villain in this thing?
It's one of his minions that he's sending out to go kill the symbiotes. That's the whole thing.
Let me guess. It's another symbiote?
No.
That's different.
No,
okay, that's different.
I think it's supposed to be one of his, what do they call it, Kree dragons or... One of the dragons that he has.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be a stand-in for one of those.
Okay.
And the whole movie is one of them hunting down Eddie Brock and Venom. This whole Vegas thing, just they could full on delete this whole half an hour of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so it's just one of them, and then at the end more show up, and so it's just like amplifying everything. But then what they do with the symbiotes is so cool. And I was like, that would get me reading the comics even. That was really awesome.
Okay.
And that was like some later game stuff. They could be setting up the King in Black. I just don't think Sony could handle that big of a story.
Okay. Now, so we've seen before that Venom is kind of like sometimes it's comedic relief, and I feel like it really takes away from just the villainous of him already.
Yeah.
I'm assuming more of that because the way that it's being advertised, a lot.
All of that. It is all comedy. The only thing that's not comedy is not villains Venom at all. Is like actual heartfelt moments between him and Eddie. But other than that, it's just jokes. Just coming at you.
Oh my God. Yeah. Horrible. So, man, one thing that it kills me is that Tom Hardy probably does a phenomenal job at it, just being whatever version of Eddie Brock he is. That's fine. Whatever. And I don't blame that with Jared Leto's Joker. Okay. I'm sure he was the best version of that type of Joker.
Okay.
But, oh my God, dude. Like, okay, so it's hard to even ask you this question because I just want to fucking talk shit on it the whole time. But does Eddie Brock does Eddie Brock kind of just continue his trend of like weakness, I guess, maybe like feel weak, being weak? I don't know. Like being nervous, scared.
No, there's something there. No, there is something there. He's not scared anymore. He's definitely more in partnership with Venom.
Okay.
But he is trying to kind of control him, but knowing he really can't. And there is a little bit of a give and take. I would definitely say that there's more of a brothership between the two of them, which is really welcomed. And especially towards the end, like the more heartfelt moments, you really see that brothership shine, and they feel like they're more on equal footing than they have been in the last two movies for sure.
Okay.
And the other symbiotes, by the way, yes, there are other symbiotes because I know that's kind of a problem that they've had in the last two movies. It's like, hey, more symbiotes.
Yeah.
There are other symbiotes, but the design on them is super unique to where you actually can visually see the difference. And like they actually feel different. They have different motives. They are welcomed addition. One of the best additions to the Venom 3 movie.
Okay. Now, so I wasn't going to ask this because I never even heard of this before until you just recently said it. This Vegas scene. What is this about?
Oh. So basically, this family again that could be cut out of the movie. They're one of the people. Like drop him off in Vegas, and then they do this whole thing where he's going to gamble. Venom likes to gamble. They meet the lady who runs the shop in the first movie. Yeah, it's whatever.
Okay.
They do this like dance scene, and the alien attacks there. It is completely. There's like a whole thing like, well, you need a suit to walk into this casino.
Yeah.
So he goes and he's like beats this guy up and gets a suit. I did chuckle at that, I will say. Okay. Which was one of 3 chuckles in the movie.
Ooh, just
3. No, not laugh. The most vocal I was during this movie was I was kind of like humming along to this David Bowie song that they're doing.
Okay.
But yeah, and then he gets like, honestly, it's a solid maybe 10, 15 minutes that just does not make any dent in the story of this movie.
Okay. Now, was the suit really needed for the casino?
It was only like, what do you mean? Like the Venom suit or just like the suit he went to go put on?
The suit he was wearing, because he said
the tuxedo was because they had a dress code, was the only reason for the whole him to go get it, because they had a dress code.
Never seen a casino with a dress code, but
Never. Not in Vegas. Are you kidding me? Have you been to Vegas?
They just want you to stumble in there. Come on now.
You barely need shoes in that place. Yeah. Cut it out. And that was actually one of the running gags that was kind of getting funny, is that he kept losing his shoes.
Okay.
Eddie Brock kept losing his shoes throughout the whole movie, and then like would find new shoes and then lose those. That was kind of like building up to be funny eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is obviously The Last Dance, according to the title. Does it feel like The Last Dance with Noel now being the end scene?
It absolutely does.
Okay.
And I'll tell you off mic why.
Okay.
This is definitely the last Venom movie, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the last Noel movie, because they could do the King in Black storyline. They would have to, of course, do some stuff, but yeah.
Okay. Any chances, any hopes that when this movie ended, that you think that this universe can now finally merge with Marvel, or no?
I think that, yes. They actually mentioned Thanos in the beginning of the movie.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because like it's Eddie Brock's in our universe, in the MC universe, and he's like talking to the bartender, and he's like, tell me more about these aliens that want rocks. My aliens definitely don't want rocks and stuff like that. And then eventually he gets sucked into his universe. So it's kind of a funny little thing.
Yeah.
But
hold on, so that's how it opened?
Basically it. Yeah.
So that's kind of like the end credits for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he's back in his universe, and it was this incredibly cheesy thing where he's in his universe now, and Venom wants to make a mixed drink, so he makes a mixed drink, and the bartender's like, what are these tentacles? And he's like, it's that bad.
Now, how did you feel? It's probably like one of my last questions. How did you feel of him turning other things into symbiote? So we saw in the trailer that he turns one horse into a symbiote. Is it like too much? Is it ridiculous?
It is ridiculous. It is fully for comedic effect. So there's the horse, then there's a fish, then there's a frog.
A fish. Okay,
but in the credits, like you're laughing at it essentially because then the credits is just different symbiote animals, like symbiote penguin, symbiote whale, you're about to eat the penguin, symbiote this. It's just like, hey, whatever. It's just all symbiote stuff.
Huh.
So they do it as this movie is a comedy.
Okay.
It is a comedy with a really good action ending.
Yikes. Oh man, I just hate what they've done with Eddie Brock and Venom. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's unfortunate.
There's a really good, by the way, I did send you a cool video about Todd McFarlane, and he does mention like inventing Venom and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So guys, if you guys want to watch Venom, I would wait. It's definitely going to be streaming relatively soon, probably by Christmas. It did 51 million in the opening weekend. Not great, not terrible. I mean, Joker and Madam Web did worse. I would say it's better than Madam Web. So there we go. Not bad.
Okay.
That's the measuring stick.
Yeah.
I'm hearing Joker's worse than Madam Web, and I'm like, oh, that's not great, you know?
Yeah.
So, there we go.
Dang.
All right, so what we're going to do next is we're going to head to our interview with Laurie Cunningham, who is working on a new comic book and is a publisher and everything like that. So check that out, guys, with Laurie Cunningham. Today I'm joined by Laurie Cunningham. How you doing, Laurie?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Laurie, can you tell us, you're an author with a plethora of books and comic books out there. Can you tell us about what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, I guess probably books and comic books. I'm a writer. I write kind of darker stuff, but with dark humor as well. So you're not really miserable reading your stuff. I'm the editor-in-chief for ASAP Imagination. So we put out a whole bunch of titles in an internet-connected universe, and we also publish other creators, and just got a whole bunch of irons in the fire, basically, and whatever people want to know about.
We're in the spooky season. We're into Halloween. So let's touch a little bit on Babies with Rabies first. This is an ABC guide, a survival guide, kind of a dark humor. What was the inspiration for this one?
I have children. Basically, it was just, I was living with my parents at the time because we were renovating a house and it was too chaotic to have my daughter there. And then it's kind of right around, it was in the middle of COVID too. And we were just joking basically in kind of dark humor about rabid babies because my daughter was teething. And it just kind of you start with one letter and then you're like, oh, that would be a funny book. And then suddenly you have 26 letters and suddenly you're looking for an artist. And then suddenly you're talking to printers in China. And suddenly you're telling everyone you have a book. So yeah, it's basically, it went really far. And now I have a little book and it's like a little kind of gift book, kind of like you have to sleep. K is for knife ball, all those pat the zombies kind of thing. I even have a little survival kit, but it's kind of for new parents. That was kind of the design of it. It's a gift book, so it's hardcover and it's got some shiny bits on it. And it's just, I wanted to make it high quality, so it's a good gift. And then there's actually a little survival kit that comes with some bookmarks and stickers, but comes with teething rings and some ninja stars for the bathtub that I had made and all that stuff. So yeah, it was fun.
I really like that it's aimed at new parents because I think that's such an isolating process sometimes where you feel like it's just you, your partner, and the baby. And it is a survival process in a lot of ways, right? And so this kind of funny humor thing that's actually aimed at them, I'm sure is very welcome to surprise and gift,
Yeah. And I find that's for me, I don't find parenting super easy. And there's days where you're do I either laugh or I cry? And I think that's kind of, I would always prefer to laugh. So when you're dealing with little feral monsters.
And you're outnumbered sometimes.
Yeah, and you're outnumbered, completely outmatched and all that stuff. It's nice to have a little silly bit of humor and just joke about them being little zombies. And so the whole book is basically a zombie survival parody guide. So it's the babies are the zombies and the parents are the uninfected. And it's there's a lot of subtle references. And then it's also kind of full of 80s reference. There's
oh, I love it.
I have K is for Kevlar and it's kind of commando, and then there's M is for montage, and it's when I was talking to the artist, it's in all the Rocky movies when he's climbing up the mountain and like boxing the like frozen cow carcass, like that stuff. We're looking for that stuff. So, yeah.
How is it different working with an artist for something like an illustrated book versus your comic books?
It's not entirely different. I guess just like I think it's just like working with different people. Like people have different communication styles and preferences, and like my artist on Babies with Rabies, like he was quite experienced and like to the some for a lot of things. Like I like would go to him and ask for advice. Like he's like has connections and stuff, and he like I'll just be like, hey, like do you know how to like get this into an EPUB? And he's like, oh yeah, you can do that. Like he like has like a wealth of knowledge.
Oh wow.
Whereas like artist on Sister Graham, like different kind of experience, but he was like brand new, fairly brand new to comic books. He was working on a comic book with his brother at the time when we first connected, but it wasn't published yet. So Sister Graham was like his first published comic book. So he was like he's super talented, but like was fairly new to sequential art, and so it was a little bit like not the blind leading the blind, but it was kind of like it was a lot more like playing off of each other. Whereas like I feel like with like the Babies with Rabies artist, like I'd like would say a few things and he'd be like, yeah, like I feel like there's very few times where I kind of went back to him and like, okay, let's like do this. Like, yeah, it was just like a different experience. And neither was like better than the other. It was just different.
Yeah. How do you feel like that changes the way the work turns out when you have somebody who, is kind of like, give me the work and I'll be able to nail it. And also that collab partner in a way. How do you think that shapes the work?
I actually prefer it when I like, hey, like, how about this? And then they just come back and it's like, yeah. Whereas like, when I'm like, have to have more input and stuff, then I like, I'm a bit of an overthinker. So we're like, if they're like, oh, if they're like an art, like, again, both artists would come back and be like, oh, what do you think of this? But like some things like, sometimes I don't want to have input. But like, it is fun, but like the comics also like with the book, like it's basically like that's one drawing per page, whereas like honestly, like there's a similar amount of pages, like there's 26 letters and the comics are 22 pages, but there's just way more panels, so there's like way more to look at. And then it's also like Babies with Rabies isn't necessarily like sequential. It's like they don't like this one page isn't necessarily connected to the whatever happened in the previous page. Whereas again, with like comics, you're like, okay, like telling a story, it's like action sequence, like it is a different way of telling it. Like I would still say picture books are like a type of comic in a way, like it's more just like one panel per page. But yeah, it's like a different way to tell the story. So yeah, like it's definitely like I said, different, but not like one's better than the other, easier. Like just you're always trying to find a way to tell a story and connect with your readers.
It feels like your working relationship with your artist is very important information for with your work on Apex or ASAP. I'm sorry, because your experience like across this gambit, I'm sure your artists kind of fall somewhere in there. Your writers that are coming to you, and so I'm sure you're very helpful for them.
Well, yeah, well, and that's the thing too, where it's just like, so other people come to us and they're like, hey, I'm looking for an artist, and they're not necessarily working with either the artists the artists I've worked with. So I'm kind of like facilitating a relationship. And I know like people who've come to us with like a brand new script, I'll like look at him like, okay, like you might not get a chance to talk to this artist face to face. Like maybe like write a little paragraph at the start. Like what's the mood? What's your theme? Whereas like some people come just with like a bare bones script. It's like, okay, well, fill it out a little bit, because like what do you want to get across? Like, yes, an artist can draw this, but like they don't necessarily know what story you're telling just to see the script. So it's kind of like, and to me, I think it's also like I don't consider myself like an artist, like the comic book artist, but I've done like a couple like commissions where I've had to like do something for someone and then given feedback, and it's not like my favorite thing, but I was just like, but there's like I was like, you know what helps me? So I have like a little bit of that insight, but
it's so valuable.
Like I don't like doing commission. I rather just like draw something and people like, I want that like straight up. No changes. Like that's what I like. Not that I'm like a big like selling artist or anything like that, but like there's been a few people who've like bought my stuff. Yeah. But again, like I find that's way easier when people just see what you like and buy it, as opposed to when you have to like work with people and change things and like they're like, oh, hopefully this is a quick fix, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to redo this whole thing.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. So like try to prevent that, because I've definitely like in the beginning, like I would same thing. I would like ask someone to do something and you're like, oh, I've combined all the layers, and like that's like
I felt that in my soul when you said that.
Yeah.
Do you know what merge down is? It's undoable.
Yeah. Never merge the layers.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I've even done that with myself, where I'm just like, I merge something and then I'm like, shit.
I need to walk away for a while.
Yeah.
Cardinal sin.
Yeah. I am 100% done. Damn it. I was not done.
Oh God, I feel that so much. With Sister Grimm, your big comic book that you're running here, it's a darker tone, I think, than Babies and Babies, right? Are you trying to also introduce humor in this series as well?
The first issue. So originally I wrote it as a graphic novel, and then we decided to split into 4 issues. So like just kind of like the flow of it, I find the first issue was very melancholy and serious, and there's not a lot of dialogue. It's very like artistic and moody. But then near the end, I'm gonna spoil a bit because like we're on issue 3. We have trading cards out there that says she's half Reaper. Her like little sidekick is a ghost. But she meets her like kind of sidekick mentory character who's a ghost. And he's yeah. And like he's kind of brings in the lightness, because she's like, so the idea with her is like, she used to be a doctor. There was this big catastrophic paranormal event in an alternate London where she got separated from her family, and this big awful like physical encounter with death changed her. And then she wakes up 3 months later with vague memories, but she's like in a morgue and she doesn't really know what's happened. So it's very much like her dealing with like, what the heck, where's her family? Like, who is she now as a person? Because like she has this ability to kill people when she used to save people. So she's very lost. Whereas like this like side character, Bennett, he like comes in and like he takes death with like this very like almost like self-sabotaging denial. So he kind of has like, he just like everything, he masks everything with humor. So it's like, yeah, he's like dead, but like he goes to the extreme, and like obviously like, so there's the dynamic where she's really trying to process things and he's just like banter. Yeah. Or just like annoying, like doesn't shut up kind of character.
When you're writing for Lily, is there anything that you're pulling from your own life when you're creating that character? It sounds like, she's probably the character you're probably putting the most time into. Are you pulling from your own inspirations?
Yeah. Yeah. Like you never want to be the like Mary Sue kind of like thing, but it's just like she's like my similar age. She's like I'm not a doctor, but she's like a mom and a wife, and like she's dealing with identity crisis and stuff, like all of the things.
But those are the best stories. As a reader, you could tell, right? It feels more real when it actually comes from.
If you read her and you're like, man, she's got some like really believable mental health issues. I'm like, yeah. Hey, I don't know why she has.
I'm no Bruce Wayne, but I'm on that board. I'm on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if people want to follow up on this, are you guys releasing kind of behind the scenes stuff, or at least teasers of what's coming up, things like that?
Yeah. So everything is on asapimagination.com.
Okay.
We have social media all over the place, and Hades has done a good job of keeping it consistent across all the platforms. Like my handle's different on every single platform because I play it hard to get. But yeah, so you can follow stuff, and like we have like plans to make a newsletter, but like a lot of our stuff is just social media updates and like Kickstarter updates, and so like we try to keep people informed, up to date about updates. Yeah. I feel had that cheeseburger definition there. I'm like, we update people with the updates.
Speaking of Kickstarters, do you have a current campaign going?
So ASAP does. Actually, ASAP has a couple. So one of them we're publishing. It's called Pawn Bros. It's like the sci-fi 80s wrestling one, which is like basically these like wrestlers get abducted by aliens and forced to fight in the Intergalactic Wrestling Foundation. So yeah, it's super fun and it's live right now. Some of the people, so we have the Anyone World, which is people we publish, but it's also people we distribute. So like it's a lot of people who publish their own stuff, but we like do digital distribution. So there's at least 2. I know End of Zed is up there.
Yeah.
And the name of one of them is escaping me, but like the author is David Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another creator, Morgan Quaid. I think he always has a Kickstarter going on. And then we have 2 more publishing up. There's another wrestling sci-fi one where it's more like the aliens coming to Earth and then these like retired wrestlers have to like save the world kind of thing. And then we have like kind of like a neo-noir one that's coming soon as well.
Oh,
so
I'm such a sucker for those. Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye on that one then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So ASAP Imaginations, guys. It sounds like you gotta go shopping. The links will be in the description for all of that. So make sure you guys follow up on those. Laurie, this sounds like such an amazing world to dig into, and I can't wait for everybody to follow along and check it out. Again, we're gonna have all the links to ASAP Imagination, but also to the socials so they could get those updates as well. Laurie, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we are back from that interview. Let's go over some of the things going on in the network. We've got a new Real Talk that just came out for our Patreon. It's free on Patreon, but it is only on our Patreon, where we discuss the current state of the MCU and the DCU. Outlast Podcast has episodes coming out weekly right now. We're still in the middle of that. Who's Got Next Game Podcast is taking a small break because Tyler just had his baby girl. So congratulations, Tyler. That is freaking awesome. Over at Fandom Portals, they are discussing the Mario movie, the recent Mario movie, and the morals it teaches to the next generation of Mario fans, which is pretty interesting. Check that out. And then Challenge Accepted, we're covering Agatha all along. We have the finale for Agatha, and then we're going to be discussing the Penguin as well after the finale over on Challenge Accepted. And then the next Geek Freaks, and actually the next Challenge Accepted as well, is going to be live on Tuesday, November 5th. That is Election Day. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be streaming live on Instagram, and we're going to try TikTok as well. We're not going to be talking about any candidates, but we are going to be like covering Veep on Challenge Accepted, and over here we're going to be talking about which Marvel and DC villain would be really good presidents. Lex Luthor for life. Yeah. So join us as we just chit-chat about that and keep you guys company while you're waiting in line to vote. All right, Squeaks, it's Halloween time, as we're well aware by your costume.
Oh, this is
awesome.
Like no outfit for work.
This is for your other job. You just started taking a break from your other job. It is, by the way, this entire time is very hard to talk to with that mask on. And like certain angles, I'm like, I think I can see his eyes when he looks that way and stuff like that. Okay, so that means trick or treat. So here's the trick. Here's the treat. The treat is if you guys stuck around to the end of this podcast, which means it's about an hour and 10 minutes probably. If you guys stuck around to the end and you DM us on any one of our social medias, like, and you say, hey, I want my mug. That's what you have to say. Hey, I want your mug. We're going to give away 3 Geek Freaks mugs completely free. Nice. That's your treat. Nice. Happy Halloween. Here comes the trick. Squeaks, you and me are going to take turns. It's a lot harder with that mask on, I will say. Okay. We're going to take turns making fake clips for the podcast social media that'll get them to listen to this episode. And they're not going to learn until the very end that it's all a trick, that we're not actually talking about that. So I'm going to give you the topic. You got 20 seconds to act extremely one way or another, but going to be like super passionate. Are you ready for this?
Okay. So you're going to give me a topic. I have to act passionate. I'm going to give you a topic of this topic. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
Man, I'm good with on the spot. Okay.
All right. Here we go. You ready? You have 20 seconds. I'm getting the timer ready.
Okay. Hopefully it's something I know too.
Okay. So your first topic, and we'll take turns. The Twilight movies deserve a reboot.
Okay. They do, most definitely. Let me tell you why. Okay, so we've gotten the whole universe. Okay, you're looking at over everyone, all right? The wolves, the vampires, and Bella and whatever, right? But now it's time, just like the newest addition to the series when it comes to the novels, is to look at what Edward was thinking been all along, right? Okay, so we need a perspective of his thoughts 24/7. Just like the novel itself. Okay, so imagine that, right? So of him caressing it. Oh, damn it. Okay. That was actually easier than I thought. I got this.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to give him 10 more seconds because he's getting warmed up. Okay, I'm going to go with my topic is going to be the original Star Wars trilogy is overhyped. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Again, these are fake trailers for the podcast, essentially, that we're going to be putting out. So we'll see if people get to the end. Here we go. Look, Star Wars has only gotten good since the 2000s and on. Everything before then sucked. If we're being honest, those old movies were slow, boring. They tried to make jokes that didn't land, and the visuals sucked. Everything from Rey is amazing. Everything with Kylo Ren is amazing. And I mean, the prequels are pretty good, but I mean, yeah, I gotta say, if you like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia, what are you doing? Those are old, those are gross, those are stupid. And yeah, I'm all about Rey. Here we go.
That you know what? You almost had me like really believing in you until you said, yeah, let's stand for Rey. Oh my gosh. I was like, man, I mean, those prequels are pretty good. Goodness gracious.
All right, here's your next one. Here we go.
Okay.
Here, this is my favorite one for you.
Okay.
The Harry Potter lore is weak compared to other fantasy series.
Oh, this is hella hard.
All right, ready? And
okay. Yeah, so this is why the Harry Potter universe is fucking trash compared to other ones, right? It's a copycat essentially to other phenomenal series that we already have had, like Star Wars from 2000 on. But it's just too simple. It's a group of guys chasing one kid. Okay, that's cool. And they threw a little bit of magic on it. Well, what is there? Some magic creatures? I mean, honestly, Fantastic Beasts did a better job than the original Harry Potter series. So, I mean, at least we got...
You're done.
Really
and that's definitely the line I'm handing it on right there.
Oh, man, that's tough. Now I got to go brush my teeth or something. That was horrible.
Oh, man. Okay, let's see. What's my next one? Here we go. The MCU needs to take a break. That's mine.
Ooh, okay. That's not even like bad, though.
I'm going to make it bad.
Okay.
Here we go.
But maybe they do. Okay.
Look, we need to stop making movies for the Marvel Universe because I don't care about them anymore. And all they're doing is just shoveling out the garbage from the Marvel comics that nobody cares about anymore. Give me Iron Man, give me Captain America. Everything else can go hit the wall. I mean, She-Hulk, she sucks is the truth of it, all right? Captain Marvel, Captain Get Out My Way. I don't care about that anymore. I want Black Panther, and I want Iron Man, and I want Hulk. If you're not a red part of the original Avengers, then get out of my movies. I'm not going to go see your garbage.
Oh, man. She sucks. Oh, she does.
Oh, we're going to get canceled.
Oh, man.
All right, guys.
I'm itching my nose right now.
That's our trick or treat special on that one, guys. Hopefully, I hope somebody listens to this. And after seeing one of those clips, try to get the idea of that. Oh, man. All right. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Let's end off with our recommendations, by the way. I'll start with my recommendation. I know it's not on the notes. Sorry about that. So I'm surprising you with that. Over on Netflix is a new documentary called The Remarkable Life of Ibelin, who is a kid who had a degenerative disease and unfortunately passed when he was about 25. And his parents, thought there's nothing going on. He couldn't talk. He couldn't really walk or anything like that. He was wheelchair bound. Suddenly they started receiving a bunch of messages from people they didn't know across the world. And they found out that he had a thriving community, a thriving friend base on World of Warcraft. And he even was dating and everything like that and was beloved. They had a funeral for him in game. And matter of fact, World of Warcraft, after this documentary just came out, it happened in 2019. There's a big article written up about it. And then they just had the documentary come out. And the documentary recreates, oh, by the way, because of his system of communication, it documented everything that was typed. So they have 42,000 pages of his conversations in World of Warcraft, where he was talking with people and stuff like that. They used that and recreated it with in-game graphics from World of Warcraft to create the story of this, this human rogue that's just living his life in World of Warcraft. So cool. And Blizzard themselves actually put in a tombstone, a memorial stone for Evelyn right outside of Stormwind. And you can go there, even like the Horde can go there, and the Alliance are being really cool about it right now. And letting people visit and everything like that. It's incredibly cool. And so check that out, guys. The Remarkable Life of Ibelin on Netflix.
Wow, that was really touching. I'm going to go with Maxine, which is a horror movie basically. That's serial killers.
Yeah.
So, now I feel like shit because yours just felt so heartfelt. Okay. So anyway, this movie obviously has been out in movie theaters and whatnot, but it just released to Max recently. And if you're a fan of like the Pearl and I'm already blanking out of the first one. Goodness gracious, whatever. Yeah. But basically, it follows her for the after part 2 of the first movie, because the second movie is a prequel. And it follows her, and it happens in this like 90s time frame. She finally becomes the star that she's always wanted to be. Instead of just doing adult films, now she's on the big screen, right? But what's different about this is that there's a lot of killing going on, and because they highlight real killers in the 90s. So it makes you think are they adapting these killers into the movie, or they're just highlighting how I guess, sick this period of time was in real life with all these other like killers and could be copycat killers and whatnot. How she really stands on her own against this because she's survived a traumatic incident prior to this movie. So check it out. I think what's Mia Goth? Mia Goth, I think is her name.
Where do you watch this at?
Phenomenal.
Is
Max. Max right now.
Max. Okay, I haven't watched any of them. So watch them.
Her acting is just so wild because in previous movies, there's a lot of close-ups on her face to where she's like either just like crazy smiling, forcing herself to cry. So I feel like these movies at the same time, instead of just it's highlighting her ability to be an actress. And I think there was talks before. Sorry, it was ex Pearl Maxine. So I think I heard there was conversation of her being potentially like the next Harley Quinn. I think there might have been someone else that might have won it. I don't think anything's confirmed yet, but I would love her to be Harley Quinn. There was a moment in this movie where she had to sit, like a production studio, whatever movie in Hollywood. She had to sit in front of a table with three basically people that are hiring her for the position, and you're watching her act in a movie, but acting for them. It was whatever. It was like
multiple layers.
Yeah, exactly. And the way she did it, forcing herself to cry, like Mia Goth is a phenomenal actress. So anyway, definitely. I feel like each movie is just highlighting her really at the same time as telling you the story. But yeah, check that out. Maxine just dropped on Max. But if you want to watch the first one, the second one is Pearl, which is kind of big, prequel. These movies, you don't have to watch them all. It's one of those like American Horror Story type feels where each one's different, but they really tie into each other at the same time. You can start off with Maxine and kind of get the gist of what happened before. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I've been like going through some horror movies and whatnot. Ready or Not was good on Hulu. And they decided they're going to make a sequel to that. And then I'm going to check out Smile. I haven't seen Smile yet. Yeah. So let's get to it.
Not bad.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out with us again. Next Geek Freaks is going to be live. So join us Tuesday mornings from 9 to 12, possibly even longer than that, on Instagram and TikTok. And we're going to be doing the podcast live. We'll see you guys there. Bye.